Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for hosting these type of sessions, which essential for to talk about, to share, and to give awareness about. And I would like to share my screen very quickly and maybe just introduce what I'm trying to deliver this talk. And so my style of hosting delivering in such sessions is very informative and interactive. So the s- the slides are really short. I like to more proactive and interactive when it comes to interacting with audience and stuff like that. Thanks for joining this session first of all. And yeah, so I would also like to know in the chat, like, are you a developer or are you a student learning, or pursue something in the future? Or what exactly right now? I'd like to know that as well. Thanks for joining all the way from around the world. I see a lot of countries here, like you know, Egypt, and Portugal. It's amazing to connect in this inclusive community. Just feel free to drop anything in the chats. I would to answer that. Uh, so amazing. Hi, Catherine. Uh, Thanks for sharing that. You can just put it in the chat. Feel free. I don't want to because we are talking about mental health, which to be mentally free, right? So that's the whole idea. And developer from Peru, professional developer. Amazing, amazing. Thanks for taking to be here. So I would also like to share about myself. So my name is Joshua, and I am a DevRel at Aviyel. Currently focusing on products like community driven specific. I like to build communities around them and to brainstorm with the I like to work in startups especially, and podcast of course, because podcasts are the way you learn quickly and get deeper insights. And apart from that, I was also a front end developer before I got into this role. Like for like 2 years, I was into front end dev, and then I wanted to move into communities because since 2009 I have been attending community space and interacting with people. And in my free time, I like to support people by providing guidance or mental personal growth or mental health. So that's my I do it for free, nothing like I charge for that. It's just for I like to help. So that's it. And traveling, photography, and cycling is my hobby. I just like to get some go out and get some fresh air all the time. And moving into the session, what we gonna like, it's more about thinking practical. So this is not something theoretically a session where we just talk about some things on the internet. No, just want to make things practical and very effective, developer focused, of course. And what are the causes for things like you see in the world after the lockdowns and stuff like that? Since the mental health issues have been increasing day by day, talking about. So that's how I got my interest in 2020. I want to talk about mental health. I want to help people. So we have to be, spreading awareness, love, and sharing support all the time. And interrupt me if there is any issue you have. Amazing. Thanks everybody for dropping in the chat. Lakshman, Joseph, that amazing, amazing. Puerto Rico, amazing. Everybody is here. So the reason why I'm stressing is basically to understand what are the causes of mental health, right? So before we move into the process, what exactly is mental health, right? Nothing but, in simple words, I don't want to take it's in the simple context, it's you are, to express the thoughts which you have in your mind, which create positive impact. That is the mental health, I can say. Because if you want to do something great, you need to be mentally well, right? You have to be mentally well, or else you will stuck in the same loop again. You get into the trouble. So many people are struggling with the problem of depression, and um, sites are increasing, right? It's not just for developers, but I'm saying in general. But coming to the developers, spending a lot of time on their desk alone most of the time because of this remote work ecosystem. There are great positives for that, but the negatives are also there because everything has some positives and negatives. So working alone, and especially sitting alone in a closed room, is also one of the causes. Practically, we speak from more. You wake up in the morning, just sometimes you just wake up and just rush into the desk. It's also not a good habit. You can just start your day out, get some fresh, a 5 minute walk, 15 minutes walk, talk to your family first, and play some music. If you read something, read that stuff. It depends. And then after that, you take some break and then come back to work. So that's how I practically, try to do it. It's not 100% possible all the time, but it's like you have to, you know, do the practice. Practice makes us perfect. And so as a quick activity, so you can, by listening to the word mental health, what are some things which pop up in your mind as a developer? I'm telling as a developer, what are the things? So, as I told, workload may be one of the words which pops into your mind. It can be, stress. It can be night outs. You can just type in the words. You can go to slido.com and number, or you can, if you are on your mobile, if you have a mobile device, you can just scan this QR code and you can just do this poll. I would like to see what comes into your mind when something like uh, pops up. So about mental health, I gave you some keywords. I hope working, right? So maybe just if you can do a quick check, let me know if this is really working. I can also do that. Amazing. Yeah, I see that typing in. Interpersonal relationship works. Interesting. Interesting. Talking up. So the reason why I wanted to do is because I want to connect with your thoughts, because I'm sharing thoughts that might not resemble. See, there are a lot of comments as well. Did I miss anything? Amazing. Yeah, read a little before work in the morning. That's amazing. And many times I listen to music, but when I watch video, the music, amazing. Take a walk at intervals. Yeah, exactly. I'll be talking about between work, how as a developer you can scale. So anxiety meetings. Yeah, that's also that's also stress times. Getting stuck in bugs. That's the I think most of the developers face imposter syndrome. Amazing. I just opened this for a couple of anyway. This session will be just for. I don't think it will make take more than 15 minutes or eight, but I would like to interact. Amazing. music, mental health, some, you can also put some positives and negative, finding everything about that. No, amazing. Pressure, meditation, too many me not asking for help, social anxiety, works, important, whatnot, right? So I'm just opening it for what. So I may get your inputs. You can just scan the, I mean, you can scan from your devices and you should be able to access this. Or you can, if you are on desktop, you can go to .com and enter this number. Imposter is a good one, yeah, actually. And else imposter is, that's the burnout. Yeah, you can also type in the chats if you're not able to access it. So what comes into your mind? Let me rephrase it again. Into your mind when you hear the word mental health as a dev, it can be a positive or a negative. It can be, a burnout, or you can be, anxiety, productive. That's a good one. Hobbies, one. This is called a word cloud. Trying to, make a meaning out of everything which are typing so that I can convey the best way. So you see, right? So everybody has different ways. It's not that only one thing is repeating. You can listen while working or anywhere. You can listen this from anywhere. That's the way I look at it. There's like a podcast. Maybe you can just tune in. Amazing. So I'll just close it because I think these to understand. So let me come with one by one. Getting stuck at bugs. That is one of the biggest challenges as a developer. And ask for help. Never hesitate to ask help in the community. If you are part of different communities, Codementor it's a community. So you can ask questions on Twitter, like people try to help in the Twitter. In Twitter is amazing. And there are a lot of Discord servers which, help. But first of all, to that third level, you can just ask your who are connected with you at work. Feel free to ask for help. Don't think that this is something silly, because I know sometimes silly take a lot of time. You feel like oh, I must have done that in 1 minute, but it took 1 hour to do that. Get better with experience. So so that's the best way. Talk to people about your and one of another ways I try to do it, duck bug, like how it happened. I use pen and paper sometimes, but it depends on people how it. And you know sometimes uh try to write on Google Docs or somewhere, but it's totally fine. Personal relationships at work, there are some limits you have to personally keep, some personal boundaries when you work, because work and friends are different. You may find friends in work are not same, you know not every coworker is right. So not every friend is a co so you need to be when it comes to your personal boundaries, and that's a biggest keep up your mental well-being. That's the session about. And hobbies, make sure you pick hobbies. Go for reg I like to travel once in a month to a new place, or once in 2 months depending on your time and availability. And of course, and take regular steps. If you are, if you have a cycle, go around with the cycle a lot. So because you can feel the fresh air, and because these are the things which are very basic. You may think that I'm telling some complex things. I'm teaching some complex things. No, these are very basics, and some things are very simple. You remember that one. So that's our session. So I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you so much for posting your responses and interacting here. So there are some suggestions coming here. Spend 10 minutes or more every day if possible doing an activity that clear your mind, re-energize your body and mind. Make sure it's different from your profession. Exactly. Something different from your profession. That's what you need to do. And it takes care of your mind to avoid burnouts. And burnouts are usual, but we have to, take care that it becomes unusual. Key phrase, yeah, exactly, different from your profession. Do something different. That's why if you see, I'm really thinking like I talked with big entrepreneurs and millionaires in some of my podcasts and interactions. They do a lot of side hustles. That's what makes them not addicted to something, or burnt out, you can say. Do different things, and allocate different time and level of effort for doing different things. That makes you a balanced individual with a balanced mindset. Even though you're a developer, you can do something different. You can start something, and that really helps. There will always learning inside hustle, different from your profession. So yeah, so thanks for that. Imposter is again, it's getting better with time. You need to be, nothing is perfect in this world. The world, nothing is perfect. No individual is, you can say that he's 100% perfect, because there is no metric to say it. But it only getting better with time. And how it's all about perspective, how others see you and how you see others. That should be, there should be an understanding connection between both of these things. Do meditation, or if you read books, if you do some exercise, do it. And going back directly, I don't want to take much of your time. What will you get to learn out in this session? I think you got a hint before I moved into this slide. So how to create a healthy productive developer routine, and starting from the day to end of the day. I gave you two challenges. Challenges come every day, because there is no end for the challenge as a developer or as an individual. And spreading awareness about mental health. Sometimes this is very important. People face everything, but they don't know what's going on. So it is very important to share awareness or spread awareness within your community, or within your, your reach about mental health, especially because they might be facing these things, but they don't know what's going on. It happens a lot. And this is all this talk is about. And root causes for mental health. So as one of the key phrases was, you know different from your work, and different from your work. So something related to that one is basically, do not mix emotions and work. So the reason why is, I'm telling this, most of them may agree or may not agree, but that's how I think. Because when you mix emotions and work, there will be not growth in your career or in your personal development. And that's how it is connected to your mindset. So personal growth, personal development, or career growth, or mental health are interconnected. So I might be using repetitively, so hope you get the context. And another is, you know the culture of a developer. The culture, I don't mean by regional culture or a family culture. It's about the work culture. So it depends how you were, how you were, pampered as a developer, or, how you were, how you started as a developer. Darren is asking a great question. Do you mean that we shouldn't get too emotional invested in our work? I'm telling you, you should embrace what you are doing. By work, I mean working for a company, working for an organization, not the work. I like to be a DevRel, right? So I like to people. So you should love the activities included in the work. So as a developer, let's say front end. So I like to build some demos as a front end developer. I like the way to keep things inside CSS, and I like doing that. But when it you know uh, you know you you should not become emotionally connected to your company. There are so many companies which say we are a we are a stuff like that, but there are limitations to it. So so these are again, so I don't want to argue with anyone's opinion, but I making sense. So you can type yes if that really helps you. First one, you can just put it in the chat, so you can come on top of it. So the third, basically imbalance in work routine. So you're connected. That's right, because it's important difference between emotions and the passion for exactly. Let's not lose our passion when get overwhelmed. Thanks, Carolina, for that one. So the culture you are raised as a developer is very important. Make sure you choose a company based on your passion. And of course, money is important, but we have a lot of opportunities to explore, and you can choose the work, feel mentally balanced, and you're connected with it. And it's okay to switch the company, as because sometimes we don't know, people change, cultures change, times change. So it's okay to take a, you're mentally stressed or you're burnt out. That's totally fine. And talk about learnings, how you were tackling the challenges even though you faced the burnout. Try the positives rather than negatives. And so I'll just go to previous one. So I, as I told you, it's a very short session. Just want to interact more than present myself. So you're starting from your day, to try to be take a lot of fluids. This is my personally, I suggest to lots of water and fluids develop when you are at home, especially. And that really helps to keep the energy time. And take the timings. I post the sessions mostly at midnight because of my silent work I do. But I make sure that at the week I'm following the routine, and rest of the week I keep it impromptu. Anything that comes in these tools, I'm ready to take it anytime. But more than 50 a week, try to be disciplined and with when it comes to the measure as a developer, which I'll be talking about. I have written an article, small article, which might be immature for, because I wrote it an year ago when I was getting into awareness of spreading the awareness of mental health. And that's it. I'm opening this questions, and the more of this whole thing is, tough times never tough people do. The more you become tough, practical, the more better you can be, because there are always challenges based on things that are changing. Before 2020, the challenges were different. 2020, it They are entirely different. So the only way you can improve is by, making yourself have to, strengthened that. And so how you can, improve yourself by documenting your stuff every day. So that's very important. So I do document my stuff on Polywork, if you know that place where people interact. So whatever I do every day, I post it publicly. If you are not comfortable in posting publicly, you can, post it in your own closed community, or share with your family that what happened. That really helps. And why ancestors were really, if you can see, ancestors were really mentally fit when it comes to the newer generation. Is they kept on communicating the things with their family members. That's one way of looking at it. And when it comes to decision making at work, it might be, choosing an issue, on a new project, or you don't feel like working on a new project this with your companies, with the head, anyone responsible for that, and take a decision as quickly as possible when it comes to the work, or when it comes to the switch, and it when it comes to any decision which relates to the work. Don't delay in taking decisions, because that increases burnout, and you don't feel like doing new things. Just focus on your past. Talk to the community, as I mentioned. Communities are the best ways to grow as a developer. Join a community with that really benefit. Yeah, I believe most of them are part of Codementor team. Join a community and build relations, build connections, useful and productive connections. And and Caroline posted something. Remote work creates a sense of loneliness. It's a matter of keeping your social circles, entire family, closest and close friends. Be creative how to re-energize and motivate yourself. That's why passion for your profession, keeping balance with body and mind health is important. Yeah, exactly. So this is not something like, I'm not a guru of mental health, or I'm not a sadhu or something like that. But these are some basics. These things are getting trendier these days, but the ideology is still the same. So that's where the concept of mental health comes. There's a interesting blog if you want to look at, which I have written on mental health tips for developers. I don't know if this is visible. I'll just share screen maybe. Uh, I'll just share my screen. That will help. So this is a blog. You can look at it. Maybe some part of it you find useful. So how I, try things for as a developer. When I used to work as a front-end developer back then in August last year, and yeah, the with food as well, you have to avoid some foods. Not You can have it, but as of anything is not beneficial for health, beneficial for body, beneficial for your mind. And always, most 90% of times, the things which are happening in your mind is always influenced by the things you listened or you heard outside, in your environment, in your community. So it's all about, what kind of environment you live in. You avoid certain things which actually, make your mind toxic. So try to self-test. What I'm trying to say is self-testing is important when you learned about your mental well-being. Test yourself that where things went wrong, at what moment, at what time. Just try to avoid it, and that's the simplest way to get rid of some things. And you can just read this article and just keep a checklist. I can say it's not like an article; it's more like a checklist how you can expand your goals, and have a good setup as well. Like, have a good chair. Monitor should be on the eye level. So that's sometimes people put monitor way above, like they say here, but way below the monitor at the eye level, so that the there's a scientific explanation to this one. When you keep the fluid transfer from your spinal cord, from your body, I mean from the brain to the body, is easier than when you're bent. You see, there's a like a delay in sending the resources to your brain. The scientific explanation, if you want to. Yeah. So so mind empty as well. Whenever you feel empty, talk to people, gather some new ideas, try to implement ideas with the community, try to work on that. So that's the entire idea of how you can be a successful developer mentally well. And I don't want to take much of the time, and it's already, I think, almost half an hour since we started. So I would like to take some questions if you have in the chat, or any feedback, like how this was really helpful, what you actually expected in this session. Uh, you know, did you get the right resource through this session? Like, this really helps. And I also encourage you all to participate in events and some sessions like these, maybe not connected to mental health, but even which connect to your coding life, your developer journey. Free to. Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. If there are anything, you can come on and put it in the chats, and you can always reach out to me on my socials as well.
Cool.
I'm still opening the Q&A. If
Yep. Yeah, thanks so much, Joshua. Yeah, that's these are a lot of good tips, but I think what I found is important is like you gotta find what works for you as a person and what works in your context. Something
exactly.
something interesting that I did for myself is so I'm also working remotely for the most part, and it's I like it for the most part. I think it's flexible, but there are some interesting problems that come up. I think such as maybe the separation between work and life, right? I think that's something that I had to deal with. And what I found for myself is, so I live with my parents and my family, and I have a brother who is away. I live in Taiwan. He's in the United States. So I use his room for work, but then I use my room for my personal things. So there is a physical barrier, there's a physical boundary between work and life, and I found that to be very helpful. So when I in the morning when I go into my brother's room, okay, that's work time. When I'm done, okay, I don't come into this room anymore. Yeah, that somehow really helps for me to have that separation. Um, yeah, anyways, I just thought I would share that was one way that I found for myself. Yeah. Um,
Exactly. When I'm in a room, right? So I don't sleep in a room where I have my setup ready, right? So I create a distance between my bed and the setup inside one single room, because there should be a separation, even in the environment you are working at. When you are interacting with the family or when you are relaxing. I don't know if it helps, but it helps to me personally when I separate things within my own house where I live with my parents as well. And when they call me outside, I leave everything. I don't carry my laptop or like that. I leave everything, and then I go and I come back again. Don't mix the work and your other things. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of questions I think I can see.
Yeah, that's get through some of these questions. I think the first one I see is from Bing. How do you prepare for a technical interview and get the right mindset to actually get into that interview?
Great. So this is a broad question again. So I'm not helping you to prepare you, but I'll just give you some tips, right? So first of all, most of the people, I mean, when they ask this question, don't read the job description correctly. Like what that, read couple of times the job description. What that really makes you is when you all actually have that already in your portfolio, it makes you more confident as you read it. Oh, I know this. Oh, I did this, right? So you read the job description a couple of times before the interview because when they ask something related to your job description, you can, be straight to the point and you have the it. Something triggers to your mind that is a positive thing. I hope I'm not going deeper, but that's how initially you can start. And also 15 to 20 minutes before the interview, do something else. Don't just when in Asian countries, I don't know if it happens in United States, we just do the last minute exam preparations for your colleges. But for interviews, don't do like that. You do something else. You relax, come with a clean mindset. Delete all the thoughts which are going on. Go for a walk and come back just 5 minutes before the interview and just set. That's one way of looking at it. So yeah, I think that's one of the basic ways you can get rid of things. And another question, I guess. I don't know. I
Yeah,
see. Yeah, you just complete
yeah, I could
that?
I could
Yeah.
just read it. I'm following. So, Iroku. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. And this person asked, so how do you distinguish between you're being lazy and experiencing a breakdown? I think I can say something myself that the first impression I get from this question is, if you're aware or worried about being lazy, I feel like you're probably not being lazy. That's my thought. But Joshua, what do you think? Yeah.
That's if you are actually, you know, I talked about self-testing, right? You should test yourself. You're identifying that you're lazy, which means you're not lazy. You're not lazy, first of all. And, experiencing a breakdown, you know, sometimes, when there's a breakdown, uh, there are some external factors involved. When you're lazy, it's either you being lazy or uh, there are no externals in that one. But when there's a breakdown, you have to see what's going down from the outside rather than the inside. And
Hmm.
then probably you can just take a break, travel for a vacation, go I take a vacation because I am a human also, right? So I also face mental health issues. That's why I'm trying to educate people with that. So that's how you can distinguish and you can take the steps, possible remedies for that. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
let
hope
me.
you
Mhm.
can just follow up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good amount of questions. We might not be able to get through it with a lot of time, but maybe we can go over a little bit. This is some really
No
important
problem.
things. I see. Let me
You can
see.
ping
There's
me even after the
yeah.
session.
Actually, you know what? That's a good question. I think we can go for a few more minutes to answer questions. But for those of you who might need to leave, go back to work or something, let me post some of the links that will be relevant. So I have Josh's Twitter on here. Um, but Josh, feel free
Yeah, you
to
can ping me on Twitter. You can tag and share your experience as well, like how you felt about this session. I
yeah.
would
So
really appreciate that.
okay. Yeah, let's get a few more questions. So, oh, okay. So I see Bing again. But that's making it more general. So talking about job search anxiety and depression, like any tips on dealing with those specifically?
So job searching, I mean, I just want to be specific. Are you searching for a new job or are you switching? Because they are mixed. So, but I would like to generalize a
Mhm.
bit. So, take your time to, sometimes there is, you search a job because there is a compulsion. You make money, you have to make a living, right? So,
Mhm.
but on building skills than, going with the trying to getting influenced by external things again I mentioned. So um uh, even though you get rejected by a company, you feel like you are not qualified for that job, try to apply it and just see what the HR says about it. Or even though not performing well, try to ask the interviewer that how can I improve. That's a positive move, right? So at least this guy, this particular folk is actually trying to improve and trying to learn. So that's a positive sign, and most people would be happy to give feedbacks on that. You know, want to transition into tech domain, talk to as many as you want, because their experience can add value to your switch or to your transition. So talk to already transitioned, and that would really help and reduce the anxiety and depression. I hope that
Mhm.
helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. And there's one more. Anon is asking about what has been your experience with using any mental health related apps? Do they really help you? Oh, that's interesting. I'll be interested in that too.
I mean, I
Apps.
personally don't use any mental health related apps. I feel like more than apps, talk to people. That would be the best way to interact. If you don't if you're alone, if you're at a new place, you can definitely use apps. But I use apps for track psych, stuff like that, but I never use mental health related apps, to be honest. So I cannot really
Yeah.
answer that question. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you brought up a good point though. It's like a lot of times these mental health issues, we gotta get to the root, right? Like some of the things that we're
Yeah.
experiencing might
Roots.
be mostly like symptoms, right? So you can treat the symptoms, can help a little bit, but if you don't take care of the root issue, it's gonna be difficult. I've heard of some other people talk about issues of being burnt out at work and say, okay, yeah, I can take a vacation. Maybe you can take a vacation, go somewhere, relax yourself for a few weeks. But then if there's something fundamentally wrong or toxic in your work environment, doing a vacation is not going to fix that, right? You're still going to come back to the same environment and you still have to deal with those things. So I think that was a really good
You have to
point, really
take
made me
right
think.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, like how do
Yeah.
you actually deal
Yeah.
with the root and what can you do about it? Um, yeah, so I thought that was quite insightful. Yeah.
Uh, Any more questions? I see a lot of comments and insights are dropping, but I really appreciate that. Uh, Joseph is asking something, I guess. I don't know, but
No, I think yeah, I think there's just a lot of good comments from people, but I don't think they are exactly questions. Um, yeah, since I think we're a little bit, over the allotted time, so I think we could wrap up. But I feel as we can see pretty clearly that mental health, it's a little bit difficult to do like a talk because it's different for
yeah,
everybody, right? Everyone has their own context, has their
yeah,
own personalities. We can give some general tips, but really, it's up to people to do some trial and error and find out what works.
yeah.
So yeah, and I think
That's the reason why I try to bring from the roots. I try to bring up from the basics because everybody has different tests and practice. So my way may not work. You can see a lot of books or blogs, or you can even go to a mental health practitioner, but still that will not help because I've stories that people keep on changing their uh, you know what we call them, mental health doctors, if that's the word,
Yeah,
therapists
psychologists or
or whatever
counselors or
it is,
whatever. Yeah.
psychologists, counselors, right? But
Yeah.
still, they don't get to a solution because this thing has to be dealt from the roots. So that's the whole gist of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much, Joshua, for this talk. And just I feel like this is probably, you're just opening up the conversation for us, and there's gonna be a lot more
Yeah.
that comes from there. And hopefully you all got some value out of this. And feel free to reach out to Joshua on Twitter, other socials that he shared. And hopefully, yeah, we'll have more future sessions. Okay, yeah, Carolina, I see. Yeah, I think there are a lot of specific topics underneath this mental wellness umbrella. There's just, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot more conversations that happen. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Joshua, for coming to share with us today, and thank you all for attending this event. Yeah, I think that's officially the end of this event. I'm going to, well, I'll just leave up a slide that has our link to the event's homepage, and I'll keep this session open for another like 3 minutes or so you all could connect with each other, chat a little more if you want. But other than that, yeah, thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Hey, take care, everyone.